The Town That Doesn't Exist by Bob the Butcher. I've wanted to talk about it for years. I'm still confused as to exactly what I witnessed on May 5th, 2010. If I even witnessed anything at all. The whole thing has caused me to become very depressed over the years, and I'm currently on unemployment. I had a CDL at the time, and I drove trucks across the country to make a living. You think truckers, and it's always some Billy Bob looking dude with a John Deere cap that says you've got a pretty mouth. I like to think of myself as a bit more refined, but I'll admit after just a few weeks on the road, nobody looks or smells too good. I'd been driving for about 4 days when I stopped for gas in a small town, which I'd guess was about 20 miles from the Virginia-North Carolina border. I should have kept driving. The first thing that clued me in that something was wrong was the gas station itself. One of those huge ones that always has every kind of beef jerky and a decent bathroom. 8 cars were there, but no people. I walked inside to find the place deserted. Nobody at the register. Nobody in the shitter. It was empty. All this, and the creeping sensation that something was just very wrong. I took some chips and drinks without paying because I just wanted to get out of there. Call me a thief if you like, but I wasn't going to spend one more minute in that place. I kept driving until I came to a small town a few miles down the road. I slowed as I went through it. There were plenty of parked cars, but no traffic. Nobody walking around. It was probably big enough to have a population of at least 1,000 people, maybe more, but nothing seemed to be going on here. I decided to park behind a grocery store and have a look around. I was hungry, and the chips were not going to suffice. Plus, I figured that if any building in this ghost town was manned, it would be the grocery store. At first, I thought it too was deserted. Whatever had caused everyone to abandon the place had happened fast. The produce was even still fresh. Music was still playing. Nobody was at the register again, but I did hear a thumping noise coming from the other side of the store. When I got there, I found a woman in tattered clothes running a cart into the cheese section over and over again. She was sobbing uncontrollably. Hey lady, are you all right? I asked. She abruptly stopped and turned to look at me. Her skin looked like she had gotten a full body massage with sandpaper. There was a gaping hole near her jaw of necrotic flesh that had rotted down to the bone. She gave me a look of pure spite and rage. "Are you all right? We're here to help," she jeered at me angrily. I was very confused and absolutely terrified, especially when I saw a clearly dead baby with half of its skull exposed sitting in the cart. Before I could say anything else, she charged at me, screaming. I immediately ran as fast as I could back to my truck, with the screaming gangrenous woman hot on my heels. I quickly jumped into the cab and turned to see her putrid face, and I jumped back as she began banging on the window. "Where's my husband?" she screamed over and over. Something unbelievably horrible had happened here. I didn't want to know what it was. I just knew that I had to run. I floored my diesel, guzzling monstrosity, and sped out of town as quickly as I could. I slowed down when I saw the buildings stop, and I knew I was heading out onto the open road. I probably had enough gas to get to the nearest town. I rolled down the window and lit a cigarette with shaking hands. The smell of the cigarette was comforting, but the odor of the rotten woman still lingered. And there was another smell, like hamburgers on the grill. When I looked at the pasture out of my driver's side window, I realized it was no cookout. Men in hazmat suits were throwing bodies into a roaring bonfire of the dead. So that's where her husband likely was, along with the rest of the poor townsfolk. They were guarded by soldiers in black uniforms, and 2 unmarked Humvees were already speeding towards my truck. I tried to speed up, but overhead I heard the ominous chopping of a large helicopter. I felt a lurch and I heard a boom. I knew my back tire had been hit with something. My truck ground to a stop and soldiers from the helicopters pulled me out and stuck me with a sedative. As I closed my eyes, I thought I'd never open them again. But then I woke up. I was sitting in my truck at my destination in Charleston. I was shocked and I tried to get my bearings. Then I heard a knocking on my door. I rolled down the window to see a highway patrol officer giving me a concerned look. "Are you okay, buddy? You've been here for 5 hours and haven't weighed in," he asked. Yeah, I'm fine. I just fell asleep. A long haul, you know." "Oh, I know how it is, man. I just thought that you may have OD'd or something," he said. "We've been seeing a lot of that these days." Nope, I'm just tired," I said. "Well, all right, you have a good day then, sir." And then he left. I finished up and went home. Since then, I've driven back that way and I never see the town. There's just miles of country road where it should be. I don't know what I saw, but I do know that it was real.